What's up, guys? Yes, we're in Tampa Bay. Is it Tampa Bay?
We're in Brandon right now. But yeah, we're in Tampa.
Yeah, we're in Brandon. But
Yeah.
I was confused for a while before we did all this because I was like, I didn't know Tampa was only Tampa, Florida. It wasn't Tampa Bay. Am I correct?
Yeah. So no. Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay. You know, that's like the bay, the water. You know,
Right.
like similar to how like there's the bay in Cali.
Oh,
you know, that's like the bay over here. You
or
know,
San Francisco.
But yeah, it's
Okay.
Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
You know?
Well, hey, listen, man. I got the one and only, the superstar, the legend in the making. Y'all, man, Listen, I've been waiting to do this for so long. We've been talking for at least like a year now. I've been following him for about 3 years now. Brandon Gomes, bro. Interview 109. I know it's weird. If you don't know, I do a lot of daps throughout the interview, so I apologize for that now.
You are solid,
but let's get into it, bro. How you been?
Good, man. Coolin', bro.
Mentally, how you been?
Mentally good, man. You know, mentally good. Focusing on that. Focusing on, you know, physical, mental, financial, spiritual, everything.
How do you think that you've been like able to cope with everything? Because like me just knowing you in this brief like hour, it's like, bro, you're dude, it's an inspiration to meet you, man.
No, I appreciate
You're doing
it.
a lot of stuff. It's not just like you're doing this and then running a business. You own a dispensary as well.
For sure.
And you also, bro, you've done so much stuff, bro. It's
man.
remarkable.
No.
But let's get into it. Where are you from? Where were you born?
I was born in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay.
Sarasota, Florida. It's about an hour south of Tampa. Okay. You know, currently where we're at right now, it's about an hour south. That's my hometown. That's actually the town that Siesta Key, the beach, is in. Okay. So that's where I'm from, Sarasota, Florida.
What do you remember the most growing up there?
Honestly, man, so growing up in Sarasota, what I remember the most was like, I just went to the YMCA. I went to school. I took the bus home from school. I went to the YMCA, and then I went to my grandmother's house after that, and I would just eat dinner until my parents were off from work. So that's like what I did the most throughout, like, you know, the years then. But when I was young, man, we used to, you know, go to Busch Gardens. It was a lot of family time. My grandma would come in town, like a lot of just family. My family raised me.
Did you come from a good household? I'm assuming.
Yeah,
like everything was well established and stuff.
Yeah, my mother, I was born, and my mother and my father were married at the time, grew up, great household. You know, I always say to everyone, no matter what you're going through, my childhood is a fantasy to somebody else's. Mm-hmm. You know, so like I was blessed, very grateful. I had both my parents in my life, sister and brother. Grew up in a beautiful town, Sarasota.
Were you the youngest out of the family? Or?
I was the baby, yeah. I was the baby boy.
How was that being like brought about? Like,
cool, man.
Were you bullied? I know we talked about off air. I know we said something off air, but like...
Yeah, so like being not really bullied, not by my brother and my sister, yeah. Heavy bullied by my older brother.
Are you grateful for that though? Because I mean, some people, and I'm not trying to like down shame any of the single, like what is it, the only child, but like, you know, some people want that, you know, and I think some of us take it for granted.
I needed that. Made me tough. Yeah. Made me, you know, just my brother, my sister, my father. I was raised in, you know, like a household where like, you know, it wasn't nothing sweet, you know. My father was born in Africa. You know, literally he always says he grew up wiping his ass with rocks. Wow. So like,
so that kind of changed like growing up for you, because not many people, I mean, I've never met anybody really from Africa, so like how was like being in the household of that? Like, did you have different like, you know, strategic ways of, you know, life? Or
so I mean, it's crazy because my father like hustled, so did my mom. She was a hustler, and they built a life together. They built like a nice life for us, my brother and my sister, you know, out here in Sarasota. They did their thing, you know. It's just crazy because my father and my mom come from nothing. They like nothing. My dad, especially, like born in the pits of Cape Verde, Africa, like nothing. Literally had 2 pair of shorts growing up, 1 pair of shoes type stuff. So even though he's doing well for himself, it was always like, you know, we're not gonna waste $1. You're not gonna waste no food. Right. You're not gonna, you know, we're not going balling out, buying all these clothes and everything. Like, you're gonna you have to get it on your own.
Do you think that's why that like you're so successful now, being brought up in that?
100%, 100%. Well, I'm so grateful for that. I'm beyond grateful for that, because, you know, it was always like, you know, if you want some more like you want some school shoes, you want some school clothes, go cut the weeds in the front yard, you know, like go like
you gotta go get it, man.
Yeah, things like that. So I'm so grateful for that, because that once I got old enough, it was like if I want something, you know, no one's gonna come save me. I gotta go get it.
Right.
So
What's some advice you would give anybody who's maybe not coming up in a good household? Because you know, there's some kids out there that are battling that, and nobody talks about it. So
yeah,
definitely needs to be brought to light.
For sure, yeah, definitely someone growing up in like a toxic household, you know, broken home. I'd recommend, you know, my advice to you would be just believe in yourself, you know, more than anything. Because I know a lot when you're around bad people, whether it's your own mother, your own father, your sister, whoever, your best friend. If you're around toxic people, bad people in your life, they're not gonna want more for you. So it's gonna take a little extra from you to believe in yourself, because you don't have that belief around you. You know, you don't have that like unconditional love. So anyone growing up in that type of situation, definitely just like believe in yourself, even when you don't. You know, I say that.
What like who did you look up to growing up and stuff? Maybe at like in the middle school age, who were you like drawn up to? Like, this is my idol. You know, I gotta meet this dude in person one day, or even growing up. You know.
In middle school,
or just even that realm, like high school.
That
who are you
area.
looking up to? Who was your inspiration?
So like when I pretty much knew that I wanted to do movies when I was in like middle school. I played football my whole life, so it was football and movies, but I knew football wasn't really it, and like I didn't want to take that all the way. So I love movies, and that's when I like was my favorite actor. You know, up until this day, you know, I know there's a lot of speculation around his name, but Will Smith has been my favorite actor. You know, no matter what anyone has to say about him.
Even if there is stuff about it, it's like, bro, you can't defeat what he's done.
Yeah.
He's made so many, like, monumental movies that we'll look up to for the like forever.
Exactly.
Like, I Am Robot. What is it? I Am Robot?
iRobot. For everything.
Dude, like,
and just and on top of that, he was just the type of guy that would like, you know, inspire. He was very inspiring. That's what helped me out a lot, because you know, you don't really know who's watching you. You don't really know who's like, you know, what really type of impact you're making as a human out here, as like a creative visionary, whatever. So like, that's why when I watched Will Smith, I was like, damn, this is what I want to do. That's the type of impact I want to have on people, you know. But yeah, Will Smith was huge for me growing up. I remember.
What about music wise?
Music, it was always Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa, you know, and I had Big Sean was also a huge one. Mac Miller, you know, and I pull inspiration from a lot of different artists, you know. It could be rock and roll artists, it could be indie, it could be whoever, but Wiz Khalifa really changed musically my life. Like,
what was your favorite project? And you know, I don't want to like put you on spot.
Well, I mean,
I gotta ask.
Hands down, favorite project from Wiz, just to this day, is 𝙄𝙣𝙩𝙬𝙚. My favorite song of all time is Mesmerized.
Okay.
So like, my favorite song of all time is Mesmerized, but all of them, Taylor Alderdice, freaking 28 grams.
I was about to say,
Cabin Fever.
There's so many.
Even like a lot of his new joints, you know, like
Decisions was fire.
Decisions was sick,
or EP. But no, even like beside you even looking up to people, like what made you start doing music? Like what age were you starting to get the, you know, I wouldn't say ego, but the drive to be like, I can be that Wiz Khalifa level.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was even before Wiz was around. That like when I really, because I was rapping. I remember in like elementary school, middle school, they'd have like poetry month, where it would be like, you know, come write an essay or read a poem or something like that, and I would just write a rap. That's how I fell in love with rapping. I would just write a rap. I loved rapping. I remember the first time I heard The Way You Move by Outkast.
Yeah.
The way Big Boy came on that verse, the way Big Boy was flowing on that verse, when I heard that as a kid, I was like, wow, this sounds just incredibly fun.
Was it easy to like pick it up? Like, was it something that you kind of like struggled with when you first started?
Of course, yeah, of course. It was hard. Of course, definitely struggle. Like, it takes a lot to like actually like do something, you know, and like everyone around you and tell it and be about it. You know, it takes a lot to do that. That's why a lot of people don't, you know, end up doing stuff because they are afraid of that like interfere. But like, yeah, definitely. Like when I heard that first Big Boy, Outkast was a big inspiration of mine. That goes back to your own question.
Yeah.
Outkast is a huge inspiration of mine. And I just remember listening to them rap, I would just try to start freestyling in my head. And that's what got me like distracted just with everything. I would just always keep trying to freestyle in my head. And I was like, nah, I'm doing this too much. Like, I can't.
At that age, were you like battling, like, should I be playing sports more? Or should I be doing music more? Or, like, was that something you were going through at high school? Or were you like working a job? Or doing that?
I was doing all of
everything?
Yeah, I was doing everything.
What was your first job?
Hollister.
Oh, wow.
I worked at Hollister in the mall. That was my first job. in the mall, and then we'd have Black Fridays. I was like the little lifeguard dude up front with the
Wow.
whistle.
No way. Hey, I don't think anybody would have noticed that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's cool though, man, because like you draw back in those moments and be like, dang, like I never thought. Did you think that you would be where you are now in that moment?
Nah, you know what's crazy is when I told myself that I wanted to do music, I wanted to be an actor, I knew like at one point it would, work out. And I'm still not there yet, I'm still hustling to get to where I gotta go, but I'm not even close to where I want to go yet. But as far as like, my accomplishments and what I've done, I can't say I knew I would, I didn't know exactly what it would look like, but I knew I would get somewhere. Just because when I made my decision that this is what I was gonna do, I went all in. It wasn't like, this is what I want to do, but like, this is what I'm gonna put my least time. Now, I moved to New York 2 weeks after high school. Didn't know anyone out there.
Pursuing your career?
Yeah.
What career were you pursuing at the time?
Modeling.
Modeling, okay.
Yeah. So modeling. That's the first thing I really took serious, because it was like making me money. It was an outlet into acting, and I was able to go to New York Fashion Week.
So you graduated and didn't kind of because some people celebrate graduating. Did you graduate, celebrate, and then just leave, or did you just kind of scrap all that? Because you got to make sacrifices to kind of do what you want.
Yeah, I didn't to be honest with you, man. I don't really celebrate much. I celebrate. I enjoy the wins. I take time to appreciate them. But I'm really just a hustler. After I graduated high school, I felt like, and that was the first part. I graduated high school. Yeah, cool, awesome, great. Yeah, I graduated high school. But what is now? I'm an adult with now what?
Yeah.
So it's I was right away. I want to move to New York. I don't want to waste any time. I don't want to get caught up in these circles and caught up with
drama.
Yeah, drama.
What part of New York were you in?
I actually moved to New Jersey
for
the first 6 months. I moved to New Jersey with my grandfather, who I didn't really know that well growing up. My mom's dad, she didn't really know him that well either. But he did a good thing for me and said, my mom called. I was like, hey, my son's moving to New York. He doesn't know anyone. Can you, do him a solid and let him stay there for until he gets on his feet? And he did. He did me that solid. So he let me in there. I moved to New Jersey for 4 or 5 months. I actually got kicked out of his house for smoking weed. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but
what are the odds of that?
What are the odds of that?
That's
right?
crazy. I mean, are you helping them get that now? Not like that.
We don't really keep in touch anymore. Yeah, I mean it's no bad blood or anything, but I don't. I was
tables turn quick though, because I feel like a lot of people doubt what the industry and the whole, if you know what I'm talking about. They doubt it. We're gonna talk about it in a minute. But I was gonna ask, what do you look at? What's your greatest accomplishments you feel like you've accomplished so far? Because you've met a lot of people. You've done a lot of. You've owned a dispensary. Bro, I can go on, and you drop fire music.
No,
you've been part of
sure.
MTV stuff,
Yeah.
So what's your greatest accomplishment? Give me two.
My greatest accomplishment, one I say, is having my son, Quincy, which was in a crazy time, crazy environment. But Quincy for sure is my greatest accomplishment. Next to that, I'd probably say is man, it's crazy. Next to that, I'd probably say is just believing in myself, bro. As far as accomplishments go, believing in myself to get to where I'm at right now. I've done MTV, I've put out music, I've done a bunch of different, tours. I've met Wiz, all that. I'd say my accomplishment is just still being here. Still being
rising, elevating.
Yeah, exactly. Rising, elevating. Shout out. Exactly.
It's a lifestyle, man.
Exactly.
That's what I tell people. But I was even gonna ask, where do you see yourself in a couple of years now? You've already, you're doing a lot now. Do you see yourself being more on the field, in the field, or are you gonna be out the field, kind of bossing it, CEO in it? You know what I'm saying? Because right now you're in the field, man. You're doing a lot of stuff.
No, for sure.
Which you have to in order to make it, but. What's your plans? What do you feel like?
Where I see myself going in 3 to 5 years, I definitely see, because there's a lot of different entities under me and what I'm doing. I have the Brandon Gomes LLC, which is that's acting, that's modeling, that's music, that's acting, that's modeling, that's music, and then I have Siesta G. And we have Siesta G, and that's where we're at right now, but that's cannabis, that's, wellness, you know, that whole realm. And then I have my DJ doing, and right now, you know, I have me and my boy DJ Richter. You know, we actually go by a crazy deal. So we were stereotypes.
Yeah.
We were stereotypes at first, and then we found some weird shit about how somebody is already the stereotypes or something like that. So now it's curse words.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I honestly, just hear me out, that sounds kind of better.
Yeah, it
You know what
does,
I mean?
right?
Like,
Yeah,
I think
facts.
curse word is different, it's unique.
Yeah.
You know, not saying stereotype isn't good, but that's a common thing. you know?
Exactly.
So maybe
is.
it happened for a reason, because y'all kind of pivot back and be like, maybe this is our identity.
Exactly.
How do you find like, how do you be able to be Brandon Gomes every day?
Bro, honestly, you know, it just really comes down to believing in me. You know, being Brandon Gomes every day is waking up. It's waking up, and before you get distracted, before before I try to, you know, fill a void or something like that, I'm just really focused on business, focused on music, being a good dad, and that's like the main things that I have to like start. I can't do anything outside of that until I start working on one of those things.
Yeah.
When I wake up,
Priorities.
I'm true to myself. I make sure that everything's running well. You know, it's crazy. The difference between me right now from being to where I was several years ago, you know, I'm just very focused right now. I don't have time for nothing.
Yeah.
Like
I want to ask though, like, I know you kind of described your routine, but like, what is the daily routine for you when you wake up?
So right now it's, I mean, I wake up right now, and I'm not gonna act like I've been doing this for too long, but right now the routine as of 2 weeks ago is I'm getting up at like 7:30. I'm getting up at like 7:30 a.m. And that's big for me.
It takes you a long time to get up. Like,
I'm not a morning
Yeah,
guy. I'm a
yeah.
night hawk.
Right.
I'm a vamp. I'm up through the night. So right now though, I'm getting up at 7:30 a.m. At 8 a.m. I'm going to the gym because I slacked on the gym for a long time. I wasn't in the gym. I wasn't active. I wasn't moving. You know. So now I'm back in the gym every morning, working out.
That's how you get ideas too. You know, you flow whenever you got alone time. Do you go by
Yeah.
yourself, kind of?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best time to like think about things, like reflect on your life.
100%.
You know, so like, what else is like something that you enjoy though? Like I
Like-
know you work a lot, and you don't,
Yeah.
you know, you don't celebrate as much as you should, because you've done a lot of stuff
No,
that
that's facts.
people like me look up to.
No, I appreciate you,
But
bro.
it's
That's
like,
love.
what is something you enjoy? What do you love to do when you get free time?
Like when I get free time, honestly, like some of my favorite things to do, like just where I'm not like there's a couple things that I do where I'm not thinking about anything. It's not a lot. I always try to tell everyone to try to find something in this life that when you do it, you are not thinking about anything else. And that for me, one is snowboarding. Snowboarding's like my favorite thing to do in the world because I'm just on. It's me in the mountain. And making sure I'm not busting my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's it, and I'm just focused on that, having fun. Other than that, bro, honestly, like my other second favorite thing to do is really just like, you know, lock in the studio. Like I just love making music, like getting better at making music, having fun making music. But like what do I love to do? I've built my life business-wise around what I love to do. I love cannabis. Now we own a dispensary, so I'm here a lot. You know, I don't find this as work because I'm here. I
Yeah, it's love.
doing
That's
this,
passion.
You know, I DJ. I love music. So when I'm several days that I'm not here on the weekends, I have a DJ gig. I'll go do that. I love that. You know.
I was gonna ask you, what about your acting? Like, what was your first movie you've ever like done, or even just like a
First movie I've ever done was called The
skit.
First Time Club.
Okay.
What's called The First Time Club. It's on Amazon Prime right now. The director was 𝙄𝙣𝙬𝙚𝙬. Shout out 𝙄𝙣𝙬𝙬. That was actually out of Sarasota, Florida.
How was that brought about? Were you like kind of called and was like, yo, this is an opportunity, you know, this is it, you want to come do it, or were you kind of looking around trying to find somewhere to do it?
So no, actually, so I did this play in Sarasota. There's a place in Sarasota called The Source, and it's like, you know, it's a pretty much like a small ran like production company, and they shoot movies, they shoot commercials, they shoot a bunch of things. I haven't really kept up with them lately because I've been so busy, but they were my first thing that I did as far as a movie wise, and I did a play with them in Sarasota.
What kind of play?
It was a play. It was like it was a high school tour. So we went to like 4 or 6 different high schools around Florida.
That's actually
and
cool.
Yeah,
Some High School Musical stuff.
Correct. Yeah. So we went. This was in like 2016. You know, me I actually had my friend Carson, I had my friend Kayla, a couple other people are in it, but it was mostly like a bunch of new people. But we went through like a high school tour, like 6 different high schools. We went to there and we did this play, and it was a play on like, you know, it's crazy, bro. I've been doing so much since, but the play, it was something about like a high school drama, you know, a guy, a girl, like first times being intimate, you know, sexual, and then like dealing with like the drama and coming of age or something like that.
Did it feel like a calling though when you were doing it? Like did it like this is it? Because you were doing modeling too.
I was doing modeling. Right? I was at that time. I was modeling. I was doing music. This was right before Siesta Key hit. This was actually during the initial phases of Siesta Key on MTV. But yeah, we did that tour, and then we did. And then from there, she was like, "I'm doing this movie." After we were doing that play, she was like, "I'm doing this movie. Do you want to be involved with it?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course. Like, what's going on?" Yeah. And then one thing led to another. Next thing, it's a big thing. Yeah. I always try to tell people, like, you know, like everything that looks huge, that looks big, you know, like whether it's like the show I've been on, Siesta Key, MTV, whether it's, you know, Siesta G, any business, like, it really doesn't, like, you have to be very committed through the beginning times when it's nothing. Yeah. And then it turns into something. You know, everyone thinks Siesta Key was like, I got a call and it was like, hey, you're on Siesta Key. Like, it was like this thing where I went to like multiple dinners. I was cool with the people, like back and forth. When I was very skeptical at first. I was like, man, yeah, okay, we'll see what it is. Like, but I like stayed involved with it. I was committed to it to make sure that it came to fruition, and it did. Same thing with Siesta G, same thing with everything I've been a part of. With that movie I was just telling you about, I was very involved in the initial phases to where it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything that you would jump to be involved in. It was nothing, you know, but I stayed involved in it and stayed committed. And then from there it turned into, oh yeah, now we have the funding for it. Now Amazon picked it up.
Just clicked in like a puzzle.
Like a puzzle, exactly. And then it's like now I'm on Amazon Prime.
Did you have some people that kind of like doubted you? You feel like?
Hell yeah.
Because we all have that, but do you feel like you kind of had pressure dealing with that? Though?
Yeah, 100%, definitely. Well, because I didn't grow up in a traditional like acting environment. I didn't grow up like that. I grew up playing football. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really commit heavily into the arts and everything like that until I was already 18. So then it's like, you know, I don't come from a family where it's like my dad or my mom is like a heavy investor into, you know, Hollywood. Yeah. It was nothing like that. My uncle's not Steven Spielberg. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like there was nothing like that.
You beat the odds. You changed the generational, or what is it? Forgot what. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. No, really, but no, exactly. So it's like we just had to commit and get to it, and that's how everything happens. You know, that's how. Are
you blessed for like? Would you change anything that you've been through to make you where you're not?
No, absolutely not. Never. I would change nothing. I would change absolutely nothing because I learned from everything. I'm happy for what I've been through. I'm grateful for the adversity. I'm grateful for any obstacle I've had to get over because that made me who I am right now. Like, I don't like. There's a saying, I forgot how it goes, but it's like, it's something like, good times create, I forgot how it goes. It's like, good times create, Shy, do you know what that saying is?
It's like, good times create weak men.
Good times create weak men.
Like, weak men create hard times, something like that.
Something like that. It's... I gotta look it up, bro. I'm gonna look it up while you want.
But that is true though, cause like I don't know,
that's
especially
what we're dealing with right now in Tally.
Yeah, no, and we're gonna talk about that.
Some weak ass people that say they're one way and they're not.
That's the world though. I feel like
I got you right.
Everybody's going through stuff.
I'm gonna look up this good times create weak men quote. We're gonna find it right now. So it's hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times.
And that's true, bro. I'm telling you, man, because I'm a living testimony of that. Like, I was down bad at one point in my life. And you guys that's been following 𝙄𝙤𝙩𝙚𝙬, thank you guys that's been supporting since day one. You know who you are. But it's like, you know, I was down bad in the reading a book, you know, on Sid, like, gone. At 17 years old. And then you even see what's going on now. Like, your dreams can come true, but you have to make a sacrifice.
You have to.
And it could be from something you know, least like or you love.
Yeah.
You know, just sometimes the most impactful ones are the ones you love, obviously.
Like,
it's self-explanatory, but
yeah.
what's like the biggest sacrifice you've made being able to do everything you've done? Do you feel like you have? I mean,
Man, it's like a collection of sacrifices like I've made, bro. I've missed like my uncle's funerals. I've missed, you know, like family times that I like won't be able to get back, you know, family reunions, like, you know, time with my family. Like I wasn't there for my son being born. Like there's a lot of sacrifices and things that I've been involved in just because of like how dedicated I've been to my craft. You know, and it's sort of like that. It has to be, if you really want to get to where you want to go, like you have to sacrifice, you have to compromise, or else, you know, you're not gonna get ahead.
Yeah.
And that's just where I've been at, you know, like I've done everything back to back to back to back to back, and I, you know, and it does. Sometimes it creates like, you know, damn, I'm missing out on all this. You know, I'm depressed over that and that, but you know, like I try to tell everyone, you know, like there's opportunity cost to this game, to life, you know, whatever it is.
Have you battled depression? Like,
hell yeah.
We don't have to talk about it too much, but
100%.
That's what 𝙄𝙩𝙬𝙦 is. It's compromising the stuff that you've been going through. You need to throw it out in the. I know, not like throw it away, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
just put it on the back burner, man.
Like depression is here. It's definitely a thing that, you know, people go through. You know, I'm not gonna act like it isn't. The problem is like, you know, and it's crazy, especially as like men. You know, like sometimes it comes a point where it's like, you know, nobody cares about you being depressed, which sucks, you know, but that's just how it is. Like that's how it is, and what are you gonna do about it?
What would you do about it?
Yeah, like
or what could you do?
Honestly, I tell like how I cope. I work my ass off. That's how I cope. I don't need a hug. I don't need a cupcake. I don't need, you know, a lecture, therapy. I work my ass off. That's what I do.
Same boat. Especially now, I grew up with no mom or dad, so it's like everything I've done, it's like, you got to get it out the mud, bro. Nobody's going to sit here and be like, hey, do you need this every day?
Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know. Let's talk about your music, though.
Yeah,
just for a second, because that's something that I've been wanting to ask you about. What type of music do you make for some people that may not have heard of you?
So, I'm a very versatile artist. I like to make, like, I just dropped a song called Chasing Status with Becca Brazil.
Fire, by the way. Please check that out. Where can we find that?
You can find that everywhere. That's on Apple Music, Spotify, everything you listen to your music on, any streaming platform. It's
Please look it up. I was driving on the way here listening to it.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, let me see what bro just cooked up, because I saw that picture and stuff. And I'm like, bro, that's a hit, yo. I ain't gonna lie. Like, if I go home and I show people that, and they're gonna be like, you know, and that's why we're gonna get him to Charleston. If you guys are watching this in Charleston, he's gonna be on the scene soon. Cause
yeah, man, take me out of Charleston.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be beautiful. But what was your like first taste of like limelight with music? Like, did you have any like? What was your first big performance? Or?
For music wise, I went to my first big show was in Adelanto, California at the Cannabis Cup, and headlining was Waka Flocka, Soulja Boy. What's his name? Tyler the Creator, I believe, was there, and then me, and like one other guy.
Were you nervous?
I was my first show. I was super nervous. I was in California. I brought a whole band with me. Like I went hard.
So you went different.
We did it big.
Did you kill it? Do you feel like?
Yeah, no, it's just so it's funny because you go to these different shows and you sort of see what different crowds there are. And I was in the Cannabis Cup, so mind you, everyone in the Cannabis Cup is just high as hell.
Yeah,
so they're not like
it's
really,
not like
like
they're really there.
Turning up, like you
they're
know
just
what I'm
like
saying?
chilling.
They're just kind of like watching you, know. Like even when Waka Flocka went on, everybody was just like.
What's going on with the whole cannabis in Florida, basically, or the industry? As a whole?
So cannabis in Florida is in this weird spot, right? Like since cannabis became legal in Florida, like it was meant. Like the way cannabis started in Florida was it became a monopoly. That's just what it became in Florida. You know, there were several people that could have a license, and that's the only people that could have a license, and they were going to take over, and that's what it was, right? But then, you know, there was a farm bill passed around 2018, which allowed hemp to be studied and hemp to come into the market, and you know, that's sort of like how we got in. We did a lot of activist work in Tallahassee. We got our license to sell the whole plant, all the cannabinoids, and all the derivatives under cannabis. But big cannabis is trying to cancel all 10,000 operators like us. Like
is there a
CSG.
reason? Like, is it just like obviously a monopoly, but it might be bigger. And I was just talking to somebody else about this before, but it's like, it might be bigger than money. And I don't mean to step on toes or anything.
No,
but
it's...
because you think about how much money, cannabis really pulls in a year. Like, it's at some point, it's not about money. It's about, like, who runs who,
No, I get exactly what you're saying. The difference is, like, so us, Siesta G, we're at the forefront of keeping cannabis free in Florida. We're the ones that are showing up to the Capitol building, speaking, being activists, stopping in politicians' offices, calling. Like you see when you walk in the shop, we have papers printed out to give people to call. Like, we're at the forefront of keeping cannabis free in Florida. We believe in competition. We believe in a free market that everyone can compete and, do a good job and you'll win, But the way cannabis is right now is you have several big companies. I don't want to name drop because, it is what it is, but people know what I'm talking about. There's several big companies in Florida that, pretty much just band together and they're trying to keep cannabis a monopoly. They're trying to keep it kind of like Monsanto was. Own the patents to all this. They're the only ones that can grow the seed. Nobody else can grow it. And right now there's two bills, 1613 and 1698. It's a Senate bill and a House bill that they're trying to push in to make all companies like ours illegal, which is 10,000 operators, 10,000 businesses in Florida shut down overnight, 100,000 employees.
That's ruining a lot of people's lives too, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Go from the people who work in it and the people who've been supporting you.
The people that are able to walk into a shop like ours, and no med card and be able to get the medicine they need, and they're trying to wipe us out. It's just for profit. Yeah. They're not.
You don't think this is happening anywhere else? Because there's a lot of places like Virginia starting to open up.
Virginia
Ohio just opened up.
They shut Virginia down.
Already?
The same thing they're doing right now. Last year, because this happens every year. So every single year, there's something that comes about. There's another bill. They try to push another bill through a lobbyist to the Capitol building to make us illegal. But last year we won.
Yeah.
Last year we won. Usually money wins. But last year it didn't. The people won, which we had a lot of faith in. And we're just disappointed that this year.
You're gonna win again, though.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
They support it and they know what's going on. Like, it's 2024, man.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, bro. Let's wake up. Let's support a lot of each other and do things that like a lot of people are not used to.
Exactly.
Shake the world up a little bit.
For sure.
Which, in my opinion, needs to be legalized worldwide, which is something that everybody says typically. But there's just some things that I feel like if you were to just eliminate something that's going on now, it would prevent a lot of things that are going on,
So it'd be greater good.
And everybody eats too.
And everybody can eat. It's just free. Keep cannabis free. Keep it a free market. Keep competition, Stop monopolies. That's how it should be. There should be nothing else in any other state, but you have like the federal level and then you have the state levels that do different laws. It's been a war on cannabis for the last 100 years.
How do you feel about like talking about you starting everything? Like, what was the beginning steps of being able to say you own a dispensary? Like,
very, very confusing. Very I remember when I was first, because I grew up in Florida. I didn't grow up in Cali. I didn't grow up in Colorado. It was different. In Florida, they made it to believe that cannabis, you were never going to be able to get into, having your own dispensary. That was that's not a thing. How
about your family? Were they kind of like supportive of that?
I've been grounded for smoking, growing up. I've been grounded I've been smoking since I was 12 years old. So I've been grounded for that, 100%. But over time, like my parents are good people. They understand, like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not also like this thing. Like, all of our parents, everyone's older generation here was taught to believe that if you use cannabis, you're like damn near the devil.
Yeah, like,
what I'm saying?
Devil's lettuce. That's why they call it the
devil's lettuce. The war on drugs. You ever seen that commercial where it's like, this is your brain on cannabis?
Yeah.
It's like a fried egg and a
and then
fried
there's the air, the balloon one.
Yeah,
you seen that one where the balloon pops and it's like, this is what happens when you smoke cannabis. It's like deflation.
Come on.
But it's, I kind of get it because there is some people out there who really abuse like cannabis.
But I look at it like this, you are who you're going to be. No matter what you do, you are who you are. I wouldn't blame cannabis or I wouldn't blame something for the reason why somebody is the way they are.
Yeah,
that
was good. Yeah.
If you're deranged and crazy and you're smoking cannabis all the time, yeah, I'm sure it's not really gonna help. It might help you out. It might calm you down a little bit. But if you're crazy and deranged, you're crazy and deranged. If you're lazy and you don't keep up with yourself, like that's just who you are. You know, cannabis isn't probably not gonna help with that. You know, like,
and I feel like with the way I was saying with misleading, it's more of like, you know, and this is something I've been trying to work on too. It's like there's moments you shouldn't be doing it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's
100%.
the you know, and I'm a big, you know, I'm battling with it, but you know, as a creator, as an entrepreneur and doing things like that, your mind is steadily going. You need something to kind of just like pause.
Exactly.
You know, so what do you think like cannabis kind of saved your life in a way?
Yeah, I mean cannabis.
Or would you be able to live without cannabis?
I would be able to live without cannabis. Like that's the thing. Like I'm not like a you know, I'm not like an addict. Like that's the thing. There's people that are on heroin that cannot get off heroin. Like there's people that are on pills that cannot get off pills. You know, they will rob their mother if they didn't have their pills. They will go rob a store. You know, those shouldn't be in the same range as cannabis. I don't think. Not even in the same sentence. Like when I have to shoot a movie. Like if I'm shooting a movie, you know, something that I have to learn my roles for, my scripts. I have to be very clear-headed, show up, get into a character. I don't smoke from the moment I get booked for that movie until the end of production.
How long did it take you to get to that level though? Because I knew you took like baby steps.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you just went into it head on and just kind of like.
It just depends on what you take more serious, you know. Like I love cannabis. I smoke every day. You know, I smoke every day. But right now, my life consists of music and Siesta G. So I'm in a dispensary and I'm in the studio, you know. Like, tomorrow I got to go to Tallahassee. Before I give my speech on activists, I'm not going to smoke, you know, because I'm in a political building, you know. Like, people already looking at me like a pothead, looking at me, putting a stigma on me. So tomorrow,
it's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
It is.
You know
it is.
And you're still battling. Like, you got a family. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You got, like, you know, so I give you props, man, for real. Because it's like, it's not easy to be able to maintain all that. What's some suggestions for any upcoming entrepreneurs, like, to give them advice to start a business? It doesn't even have to be cannabis related, but just anything to give advice.
Anyone out there starting a business, anyone trying to come up from scratch, no investor, you know, just an idea. If you're starting with just an idea, literally take it step by step. And this is the process where everybody quits in, you know. I'm talking from scratch. Siesta G, at one point, it was just a name. Didn't even know if that name was good. I was like, Siesta G, you know, had nothing, no LLC, no retail shop, nothing. This is the very beginning. Anyone out there coming up with a brand, starting from scratch, make sure you just have a vision. Like, know what you want your brand to be. Like, think with the end first. Think of, like, where you see this thing being, and then work backwards from there, you know? Then go do all the, like, you know, clerical stuff you have to get done. But anyone trying to start a business, just start with passion. Don't start a business because you see, like, you can make a lot of money in this.
You make money in a lot of anything almost now.
You can sell dirt and make a lot of money.
Right.
You know, like, you can see, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good,
straight up.
That's straight up fact, bro. How'd you pick the name though? Like, how'd you come up with Siesta G?
I wanted to stick with, like, where I was from. I also try to use, like, a marketing approach for it. And then I thought of, like, the like spiritual approach. So I'm from Sarasota, Florida, which is Siesta Key. So that is, you know, it was like founded here. Siesta, I like the name. It's like nap, it's chill, it's peace. Siesta, like very like a chill town.
Yeah, you go on Google, you can look it up and it'll just like pop up G. You know, like that, and it'll be like, oh, where's this at?
Correct.
That's cool.
And then being the show on MTV, Siesta Key, you know, that was a lot of people think Siesta, you know, and I was like, let's just bring those together. And then spiritually, when you think of G really, like, if you look on like online, it really means like inner peace, inner strength, resilience, you know, and the balance between the Siesta and the G, I think, is really like the lifestyle experience that we're bringing here. You know, it's not like we're here straight business, you know, but we're also not too relaxed to where we're not on our business. You know, Siesta meaning nap in Spanish, and then G being like inner strength, inner peace, balance, you know, resilience. Like, I think those two together just embody a nice lifestyle brand.
How long did it take you to come up with everything? Like, you know, the whole process. Did you just kind of like?
It's been 3 years in the making.
Yeah.
3, and that's
you
another
still feel
thing.
like you haven't developed yet, like fully developed?
We've only so Siesta G started 3 years ago, right? This retail shop has only been open for 6 months, so that's a whole 2.5 years of nothing. not nothing, but that's
I know what you mean.
That's
like,
all 2.5 years of going to Tallahassee, freaking putting a suit on, going and talking in front of people on the activist side. That's filing for a trademark, waiting 4 months to get approved. That's getting an LLC, getting a bank account, getting denied a bank account, getting another one, getting denied that one. You know, like finding the right bank. Like, there's so many different things when you start a business that naturally anybody that isn't, you know, thorough and resilient, they'll quit.
Determined.
Determined. And that's why the love comes into it. If you want to go make a lot of money, you can go be a lawyer, but I guarantee you're not going to finish law school if you don't like law.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's a fact.
You're not going to...
I mean, unless you're really about it. I mean, there's some people, I know some people that say they don't enjoy what they're doing, but they're really talented at it, and they want to do something else so bad, you know?
Correct.
So it's possible.
It is possible.
Yeah.
There's always a route.
But I know what you mean. It's like, it's real stuff. I was going to ask, though, like, you know, do you, like, consider yourself, like, paving the way for other cannabis people in Florida? Because you basically are. I mean, there's some people, like you said, or it wasn't you, but your assistant was saying that, you know, there's 10,000 other cannabis companies in Florida, but only maybe 50 people are going to be there actually in Tennessee. So, like, I mean, technically you are paving the way, right? How do you feel about being known for that?
I feel like a pioneer. I do. I really do feel like a pioneer, you know?
Does it feel like it, though? Because in the moment, you feel like you're in this drive. You're in this, like, tunnel vision of, like, locked in, so you don't really see it, I feel like. But do you feel it?
Like, you know, I know deep down that I'm a pioneer because I am. Like, I'm driving 7 hours right after, you know, this pot. I got to drive 7 hours to Tallahassee to go up to the Capitol building, you know? But during it, you know, I don't feel like, I know I'm doing some pioneer stuff just because I'm determined. But during it, you feel like a guinea pig. During it, it's not like fun. That's why, like, when we were talking about, you know, when you get into something, you know, like, there's a lot of sacrifice. Like, that's that. I know I have to do it. I know it's worth it for our industry and our business and many others. But it's not fun. Like, I'm not up there, like, in Tallahassee, like, I'm a pioneer. Like, I'm more like, okay, here we go. Like, you know, I got to go up here, say a speech. Like, I'm not a political guy. That's not my game. I'm not, you know, the political guy. But I am an activist for stuff I believe in, you know, and cannabis has been involved in my life forever, so I'm going to go up there, I'm going to speak again. And I'm going to tell all my friends, yo, you should come up too, but chances are a lot of people aren't going to. Right. So that's where the pioneer thing comes from.
You don't feel like you've, like, and I don't mean to backtrack into, like, MTV and stuff like that, but do you not get support from people like that? Like, the people in that realm of, like, I wouldn't say, like celebrity, or what is it? A-list people, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like, so, like, other MTV
have
cast
anybody's
members
ever, like, try to support you and, like, you know?
No, and I do a lot of different things, so I get support from, you know, my fellow cast members or different people on different shows on the MTV platform. I've gotten support. I've had people show up to my shows. I've had people show up to this, but as far as cannabis, this is like a real, like, you know, you get shadow banned for posting picture of bud and then trying to, you know, sell it, you know, on Instagram. You get shadow banned. So a lot of people, they're not going to take the bite on trying to support and help my cause, and I'm not mad at them for that, but it's just more so, like, it's just disappointing that this is what cannabis has come to.
How do you manage, like, the high expectations, like, for things? I mean, that's technically not a high expectation, but it's like just thinking, like, yo, you know, we linked up, like, we met, we chilled, we done a lot of stuff, we did accomplishments together. You know, you would think, you know, how do you hold, like, how you balance it? You just don't care?
I just don't. I try not to set expectations on anyone or anything anymore, because, you know, you set expectations, then you get let down. You know, over and over again. Yeah, so
and you keep the circle small.
Correct.
Like, if you keep the whole thing small, you won't have to expect anybody to have expectations from. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still spread the word. I still ask for help. You know, that's I had a problem with that growing up. I never would ask for help. You know, I always think I'm gonna do this by myself. You know, but
that's how
now I ask for help, but I do not get disappointed if people don't come to my aid. Yeah. Because that's just what it is.
But I feel like you're the type that, like, I got you in the future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna be good. You know?
Anyone that's called me and really needed my help, like, you know, people that I rock with, I'm there for them. You know, like, I pull through, I do what I gotta do. Like, you know, I'm like that. I'm not, just because someone doesn't do it for me doesn't mean that I won't do it for them. Or because people haven't helped me out doesn't mean that I won't go help people, you know? That's not how I am. But, I just think it leads to a lot more anxiety and stress if you have all these expectations on your friends and your people that you've helped before, things like that. it's actually more surprising and it's uplifting when people do come to help and you didn't expect that.
Right.
That's like, wow, like you're a real one, you know. I appreciate you for coming and
especially
helping,
when you're down at the lowest points of like, I wouldn't say like depression or anything,
Yeah,
but you're
yeah.
like really down, and then you just got someone reach their hand out. It's like, I think it's a blessing in disguise.
That is.
Especially when you're in that tunnel vision. It's a lot different, you know what I mean, when you got help like that. But
That's a real one.
I mean, dude, I feel like we covered a lot. Like, you know, I wanted to keep it kind of minimal a little bit, and I'm excited.
bro.
We're gonna come back out. Me and the team gonna come back out here, or even if
Whenever.
you're at a show, we gotta get you to come out to Charleston.
Man.
Just something.
Book me in Charleston
I know,
somewhere.
man.
Show
Hey,
me somewhere to go. We'll hit them up.
If you're watching this, please, any of my people, bro, for real, tap in with my boy right here. We gotta get you out there, because there's a lot. There's like Uptown Social. There's a place called Ink. The Nelk Boys were just there.
Okay, perfect.
It was crazy. Like,
Let's set it up, man.
No, we gonna talk.
Let's
bro.
go all through the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, that's a fact. Where do you enjoy the most, real quick, before we go? Like,
And
what
state-wise?
Yeah, what has been your most like memorable? 'Cause you've been a lot of places these last few months.
I mean, as far as like show, like music wise,
Yeah, we can
like
do
where's
that.
the best crowd, best engagement
yeah,
at?
like the best. Like,
The best, honestly, bro, was New Orleans.
wow, no way.
New Orleans was like turned up.
What's your definition
Arizona
of
was
turn?
nice though. Too. By turn, I mean people literally going out of their way to show you the most love that you're like, holy jeez, like people like freaking crowd surfing like to the point where they might hurt themselves. You know, because like they're just here to support you. Like I'm gonna go jump in the crowd, like I'm gonna jump off the second balcony and like, you know, I'm
You're
like,
just
yeah,
like,
bro,
yo,
like relax. Like,
do it, bro.
You know,
do it for me.
I just like when I go out and I do shows and I go to different places, I really just engage like how fun people are having, like how much fun people are having and how like loose they are, like dancing, enjoying themselves. Like I don't like to I do shows and everyone's just so cool in the
Yeah,
crowd, like just
right.
so cool. Like I don't know, like but New Orleans is crazy. There's people jigging. There, bro, I'm talking about. There were so many people hitting splits in the crowd.
Wow.
I'm talking about old men
That's crazy.
dropping in splits in the crowd. Like I'm like, yo, like what is going on?
Dude, that's
Like-
insane. Hey, shout out to that old man. He's probably making a living off dancing probably now. Like,
Straight up.
that's
yo.
crazy because that probably gives you the drive for the next show. It's like, I
Exactly.
need to make another old man do a split, you know?
I'm
Not
saying,
technically.
no, legit, bro. New Orleans for sure. Anyone hits me up in New Orleans, like I got another show for you, I'm coming out.
Right. Well, hey,
But
man.
I gotta come to South Carolina.
Yeah, no, South Carolina, you're gonna blow the socks off people, bro. I think you would fit right in, and I think when you come there, you're gonna be like, all right, I'm coming back, you know? Because people do show love, especially like in the DJ scene, you know?
Hell
We're a
yeah.
big DJ, but like, I don't know. I mean, y'all speak for yourself. We're in the comments. Go follow him, message him, do it. You know what I mean? Go follow him.
dig.
Where can we find you on social media before we go?
On social media, all social media, just at Brandon Gomes. On Instagram, it's at _ Brandon Gomes. TikTok, Brandon Gomes. YouTube, Brandon Gomes. Apple, Spotify, all Brandon Gomes, man.
Brandon Gomes everywhere. And I was gonna ask you the last final question, but I
Yeah.
already asked it before,
No worries.
which is, how do you always be yourself when you wake up? But I guess you can give me another response.
How do I always be myself when I wake up?
I never do that. Normally I wait, but I'd ask it.
No,
earlier. I remember asking.
No, how do I be myself when I wake up? Man, first thing when I wake up in the morning, bro, I focus on my breathing, know who I am, you know, don't worry about all the stuff, the distractions out there in the world. And I just keep my nose down, man. Keep my nose down. Make sure I put something on fly that I like. You know, put something good up in the air. You know, and just take the day off with a good start. You know, never low, always high.
Got to, Brian.
You know what I mean?
Listen, man. Interview 109. Brandon Gomes, this has definitely been long anticipated. I've been excited to do this because, like I said, I've been following this man and it's been beautiful. He's literally the definition of Rise to Elevate. Because,
My God.
dude, listen, I remember watching him on MTV, and I know there's gonna be some people that are in the same boat. And I'm like, bro, he changed from my phone. He changed from like doing, you know, I guess acting, you know, reality stuff to like actually music, traveling. You know, you're doing a lot, owning it, being an entrepreneur.
Yes, sir.
You know, speaking for cannabis in Florida. Like,
Yes, sir.
I don't even. Am I missing something? I feel like there's just so many things. Like,
Nah, man.
like bro, you're doing
No,
a
you're
lot. It's hard to
hitting it.
keep up with you, bro.
You're hitting it, bro.
You need to
Siesta
slow
G,
down.
Music,
Don't
DJ.
slow down, bro.
No, always foot on the pedal, bro.
Yeah.
No, and as much as I'm doing, I ain't nothing, you can do it too, bro. So keep going.
That's a fact. Remember, guys, stay true to yourself. The only way to achieve your dreams is through you. No one else is going to do it. You got to get up every single day, and you got to grind harder than me and Brandon and the whole entire world. Because if you won't, then
who will?
I will.
Yeah, exactly.
Love you guys. Peace.
Love, bro.